Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this short but important presentation today about premium medical insurance for students. Today, we will be presenting about students' insurance in Singapore. First of all, my name is Kelvin. I am the Director of Astute Solutions, and today we will be presenting on this topic together with my colleague, Aaron. Now, as you can see from the screen, we will be talking about what insurance you need to have in the COVID world today. How safe are you when you are in Singapore studying with proper insurance protection? Also, what will be covered in our insurance that we provide? And how do you do your claims when it comes to the need to claim? Okay, so thank you for staying around. I will be doing about just a 20 minutes presentation today. Just a disclaimer, we do not allow photo taking or screenshots taking of our presentation today. Now, when we talk about insurance in Singapore, for students coming to study here, we are talking about two particular different type of insurance. Okay, first of all, we are covering personal accident insurance. Now, what is personal accident insurance? Let me explain. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, anything related to personal accident. For example, you have a fall while walking on the street. You have a cut while using a scissors at home. You play sports like basketball and you play football and you injured your ankle. You have a sprain. I have students who, carry heavy stuff or carry heavy musical instruments and they injured their shoulder and neck. So all these are considered personal accidents. And if you go to a clinic in Singapore around your place where you stay, you can actually claim up to 100% of your clinic bills. Okay, so this is personal accident. Now, there are some special conditions for personal accident. For example, food poisoning. Okay, food poisoning is also considered personal accident. Insect bites, dengue fever. So you are being bitten by mosquito, you are being bitten by bee. All these are considered personal accident that you can claim. Okay, some students and parents ask me, if I have normal flu and cough or fever, can I go to the clinic, see a doctor and claim on the bills? The answer is no. Because those are what we call sickness, sakit, not exactly personal accident. Okay, so those cannot be claimed. Now, our personal accident is quite straightforward. If you can see here, the premium is just $220 a year, $220, and Universal, because they are our long-term working partner, they will be subsidizing $170 for every student that enroll in NAFA. Okay, so each of the student will only need to pay $50 to have this coverage for the whole year. Okay, so if you take a look here, every accident, I would allow you to claim up to $2,000 of reimbursement. Okay, in a year, there's no limit on the number of accidents, no limit. Each accident, you can claim up to $2,000. And if you see here, the second one, $500 available for reimbursement for TCM. TCM in Singapore is what we known as traditional Chinese medicine. In Indonesia, is what you all call sinsay, right? You go for ulut, you go for acupuncture, you can claim up to $500 for every accident. Okay, so I have an example in the next slide. This is an example of a personal accident plan where the student injured himself and he goes to a clinic and he is being charged $247.10. We pay the full $247.10 to him. Okay, so this is very, very straightforward. Personal accident plan. Next, we move on to hospitalization insurance. Hospitalization insurance means, quite simply, as long as you are required to stay in the hospital, the bills will be covered by us, up to 95% of the bills. You will have to pay 5% of the bills. Okay, but before we go into hospitalization insurance, I think at the moment it's good to touch a bit on the COVID situation in Singapore. Singapore is currently quite well known around the world for tackling this COVID situation very successfully. Now, having said that, we have to know that the success does not come easily. The success is due to very, very strong and aggressive effort, both from the Singapore government and from the Singapore people. As you can see here, the Singapore government developed a mobile application called Trace Together application. Every one of us are required to download this application so that anywhere we go, like we go to a shopping mall, we go to a food court, we go to any place, public place, we will have to use this mobile app to scan in our attendance so that it's easy for the government to trace all the surrounding people if anybody is detected as positive for COVID. Okay, so besides this, you will see that wearing a mask is also absolutely compulsory for everyone in Singapore when we are outside. You can see that there's some article here. There's a woman that is being charged in court for failing to wear a mask at one of the hospital. Okay, so this is very aggressive. This is very compulsory. Another thing, Singapore is extremely strict and aggressive in doing testing. If you can see here the number, currently Singapore has already done up to near to 12 million of swab testing as of 31st May. As you know, Singapore is with a total population of about 5.5 million. It means that we have done more than double the number of swab testings on our population. Next, besides testing, is also very aggressive on vaccination. Singapore is one of the highest rate in terms of administering vaccination for our population. As you can see here, in the whole of Asia, Singapore is currently ranked number 3, behind Mongolia and Maldives, to have administered the number of vaccinations for our population. So with all these strict measures in terms of wearing masks, in terms of contact tracing, in terms of swab testing and vaccination, you can be very rest assured that for your students coming to Singapore to study, they are very well taken care of and very well protected. Now, we go on to the hospitalization insurance that we spoke about. Now, you have to know that every international student coming to Singapore to study is compulsory to take a medical insurance. And usually this medical insurance will be provided by the school. I show an example of a school insurance using their student contract. Okay, so this is an example of a hospitalization insurance provided by the school themselves. If you can see here, the hospitalization insurance for a 3-year program is $180 in total, which is about $60 per year. It's not expensive at all. But you have to know the terms and conditions very clearly. Let me read out for you here. This medical insurance scheme provides for an annual coverage of not less than 20,000 per student. at B2 ward in a government and restructured hospital. Now, first of all, 20,000 limit is extremely low for Singapore's hospitalization bills. But you are only getting this 20,000 as a limit in one whole year. And you are supposed to only be able to stay in a B2 ward in a government hospital. A lot of you may not understand what is a B2 ward looks like in a government hospital. I show you. This is a photo of a government hospital B2 and C ward in Singapore. As you can see, it holds 4 to 6 beds, 4 to 6 persons sharing one ward. You can see clearly that the ward is without aircon. There are a number of ceiling fans on top here. Of course, there are a lot of windows for good ventilation. There is no mirror here. You may thought that it's a mirror, but it is not a mirror here. It's just the next ward where there is another 6 patients sleeping around here. Now, I want parents and students to think carefully. If you are down with any sickness, you need to be hospitalized in hospital. Would you imagine yourself staying in this type of hospital, especially current situation of COVID? I'm sure you may not want to. Compared to a private hospital in Singapore, A ward. A ward means a single ward where you are alone in the whole big room with aircon and TV and sofa. Now, private hospital in Singapore, many Indonesians will be familiar with some of the hospitals here privately run, like for example, Mount Elizabeth Orchard, Glen Eagles Hospital, Raffles Hospital. All these are private hospitals which, if you take our private hospital insurance, you will be entitled to stay in this type of room. Next, you will be then asking, wow, this type of hospital ward, it must cost me a lot in terms of premium. Let me show you. Now, if you take our insurance, assuming you are age 20 and below, whether you are a male or female, it doesn't matter. The premium is standard. How much? $1,012 for the whole year. Every month is less than $90. Okay, less than $100. So this is the premium for the whole year. But if you take a look at the important part, the insurance limit for the whole year is actually $2 million. And this is a lot of difference from the $20,000 provided by the school insurance. Okay, as you can see here, of course, you are allowed to stay in a private hospital, or you can go into government A ward if you want, but you are able to stay in a private hospital. And I will show you an example of a bill. You will just need to pay 5% of the bill for this insurance. But if you take a look here, 5%, there is a cap here at $3,000. It means that you will not need to pay anything more than $3,000 if the bills goes too large. So I show you the example. Now, there is a student of us last time when he was hospitalized for just 3 days in a private hospital in Singapore. He was a boy from Medan. Now, he was playing football. He accidentally injured his foot and fractured his foot. He was asked to go through simple surgery, and he was only staying in private hospital for 3 days. However, the surgery bills is quite a bit, and the total bill comes up to near to 56,000 Singapore dollar. If you can see here, $56,000. Now, because of the fact that the student has got insurance with us, luckily, he only needs to pay 5% of the bill, which is about 2,000 plus here. And we pay on his behalf the balance of the bill, which is 53,300. Okay, so this is something that is very important. We want to emphasize to the parents that you will definitely need to consider having such an insurance as compared to only a school insurance. Because imagine you will have only a school insurance, you are faced with a bill of 55,900. The school insurance pay out the limit of 20,000. You will need to pay out of your own pocket 35,900. Isn't that a big amount of bills to pay compared to your premium of just $1,012? Okay. So we will show you, if example, there is a huge bill. The bill for hospitalization comes out to $200,000. Assuming you don't have our insurance, you only have the school insurance, because there is no limit, you will have to pay 180,000 out of the whole bill, because the school insurance only help you to cover 20,000. You have to pay the balance. This is a big amount. Suddenly, you will have to come up with this money while you are in Indonesia to pay for this bill. Not to forget that you are staying only in this type of government hospital with no aircon. As a comparison, if you have our hospital insurance, because of the fact that you only need to pay 5% of the bill, capped at $3,000 a year, you do not need to pay a big amount, but you only look at $3,000. And you are staying in this type of private hospital A ward. Which one makes more sense to you? Would you be looking at this type of cheap premium but no peace of mind, or rather a premium of just less than $100 a year but with total peace of mind? Okay, so this is a very simple and straightforward comparison. If the bill comes up to be big, you do not have to worry too much of your students and your children when they are studying in Singapore. Next, now a lot of time we will face this question from parents. If I already buy insurance in Indonesia for my kid, why do I still have to buy an insurance for them in Singapore? Now, I will show you the difference between having a Singapore insurance or having just an Indonesia insurance. If you are in Singapore and you have a Singapore insurance, the insurance will cover up to 95% to 100% of the medical bills for you. And you do not have to worry about transferring big amount of money to Singapore at all for paying hospital bills. Next, the payout, when the insurance company issue the reimbursement payout, it will definitely be in Singapore dollar. You totally do not need to worry about exchange rate. Okay? You only need to worry about one-time exchange rate when you pay the premium. Now compare this when you only have insurance in Indonesia. You need to pay the medical bill in Singapore first before you can claim. And have you thought about how to transfer this big amount of money to Singapore to your children or their guardian when you need to pay for these hospital bills all of a sudden? You will also not be able to be in Singapore to oversee all these payments. Due to the current situation of COVID, it's difficult for you to fly here to take a look at this payment. Not to also mention you have difficulty to fly here to visit your children. Okay, you will also need to provide the original receipt to the Indonesia insurance before you can be reimbursed of the medical sum. Okay, now one important thing, last point, and it's very important point. The payout, because you have the insurance in Indonesia, the payout will be in rupiah. How certain are you of the amount you will be reimbursed? Because you are paying the bills in Singapore dollar and you will be receiving payout in rupiah. Don't you think you will also be suffering in terms of exchange rate? So these are some very important reasons why you should consider having a Singapore insurance, even though you may already have purchased the insurance in Indonesia for your children. Okay, next, we come to the part in terms of claiming. Of course, when we purchase insurance, it's important to know how easy is it to claim. Now, if you can see here, it's very straightforward. We have an internet portal where we can assist the students to fill up the necessary information, their name, their student pass number, and they will just need to show us a photocopy of the receipt, and we will be able to attach the receipt here, whether is it new hospitalization claim or a follow-up hospitalization claim or a new accident claim, is all here for us to choose. So with this internet portal, we can submit the claims on behalf of the students. They do not have to worry about, oh, is it very difficult to claim and things like that. We will be doing all this on their behalf so that they will just have to be taking time to rest while they are not feeling well. And it's very straightforward. Usually the approval of the claim will come within about 2 weeks, and the students will be able to get their reimbursement within another 2 weeks. It's very fast. Okay, I've come to the end of my presentation. It's a very quick and simple and straightforward one, but it's also an extremely important presentation for everyone to understand that while you're studying in Singapore, you need to be well protected with the correct premium insurance. And with me, Kelvin, and my colleague Aaron here, who are able to assist you at all times. We leave our mobile number here as well as our email address here so that you can contact us anytime. It's our job, it's our pleasure to help all the students when they are here in Singapore studying. Okay, I hope I have been clear. We look forward to seeing you here in Singapore and enjoy your study and enjoy your stay in Singapore. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you so much.